Adam.
Yeah.
Not Taiva.
One second. Oh, this camera's not working. Okay.
Take your time. Take your time. Make sure it's working.
Yeah. Okay. Hilchos De'os.
The microphone is pretty good. I mean, I listened.
Yeah. I just thought maybe this was better. I don't know. I think the camera's better. Good. Hilchos De'os Perek Gimel. So first, we're still in the middle of the first mitzvah. Hilchos De'os, which is the mitzvah of being godlike, meaning to imitate Hashem. These damas b'dracha, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the first mitzvah, and we talked about so far about personality traits and different habits of people that I'm talking about going into mitzvah, being the middle way. Yeah. Right. Exactly. And dafka not being too extreme in any direction. The big anger and another Rambam sounds like there is a room to be actually a mile of being extreme in not being angry. Good. So Perek Gimel.
It's the only one in the shir. Reminds the story that Shliach had only one king.
Exactly, Shia. Okay. No one can see now you gave it away. Everyone on the camera thinks I have a massive crowd over here.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Now they see the truth.
Halacha Aleph. Shema Yema Adam lest the person say Hoyel Vataiva Kavod creates event sins, Taiva and Kavod, things like that. The Dam says are very negative minutes. They are evil path, an evil path. And the Chazal say Perek Beis yesterday, the last halacha of Perek Beis was Akina Vataiva Kavod. The guy at work is always jealous. He always wants to be better. The people like that don't have a life. Not this one, not the next one. So if that's the case, if a person going to say, I'll separate myself away from the path of being lustful, of going after taivas and after honor, the age to it to the extreme. I'm going to the opposite extreme. In a not a gesund way. I'm not going to eat meat. I'm not going to eat wine at all. I'm not going to get married because it's taivas. No, I'm not going to live in a normal house, a nice house. I'm not going to wear nice clothing. Sackcloth and temer, like wool, not wool clothing, but like raw wool. Hakosha, which is hard wool. Things like that. In that case, you're going kamri edim. But you says kamri edim. What's the use about you?
I missed the looking for that. Kimori or the Edek.
Yeah. Like Christian monks, basically. Yeah. Some say it says Kamer v'Dazara, but the Pali tends to change it. So, yeah. It's a bad path, and I'm an awesome person going that path of extreme, I think the English word is asceticism, like kind of removing yourself from any kind of worldly involvement. A person follows this path, is called a sinner. What's the Aveda? Where does it say thou shall make sure to have normal clothing and not wear? The pasuk has been known by Nazir. The chipal of me'ashechot al nafesh. He has the atonement when he brings the korban. Nazir, middle of his naziris, becomes tamei. He has to become tamei. He sinned on his soul. So you could say Pshai became the fact. What was the chait is that he sinned or becoming tamei by a nefesh. He became tamei's corpse tamei. But also means he became tamei for the fact that he was matamei his nefesh. Now, the pasuk is not only saying that he has to bring the korban from becoming tamei if it's amazing or negligent shegig, even if it's an einus, mamish an einus. The guy is sleeping, and I bring a mess, a kazai into the house. He asks me the korban. What's the aveda? He needs kapara the fact that he refrained from drinking wine and enjoying himself, or drinking wine in a normal fashion. So for sure, a person who refrains from anything else, which not just, from more than wine, for many more things, for sure it's kapara. Now, the Rambam is the people. The Rambam, in the previous paragraph, talks about people who go to the extreme in this fashion because they want to uproot gaiva from their heart. That's something else. That's doing it for that sake temporarily till you uproot it completely. But this person says, as a shit, as a way of life, I'm going to refrain from these things. The Rambam is marich on this in his Hagdomat and Pirkei Avos. He describes a chacham who went in this path for the sake of, but then they were on that madrega to constantly fast, constantly not wear this clothing, and some people thought that that's how you're supposed to behave, so they copied them, and that's not appropriate. Also, the chachamim did this because if the leaders of the generation are going to abstain from taivas in the extreme, and hopefully the average people will be normal and not be involved in taivas so much. That was the way of demonstrating to the Haimei Am how to behave. That's why they did it. But this way of doing it as a way of life, if you're not holding this, it's an aveda. It's not appropriate, at least. The Rambam actually used the word chayte, right? It's sinning. The Chacham commanded us, the person should prevent himself only that which the Torah prevents from you. A person should not answer himself to making Dharma Mashus from the permitted things. I'm saying two things. First of all, don't refrain from anything unless the Torah says it's awesome. Then he says, don't make a Dharma. What if I don't make a neder on my own discipline? I want to have proper skaf, and not refrain. So that's okay. In other words, as long as he's not doing it to an extreme degree. And even when you do it, don't do it as a neder. In fact, the Rambam is going to tell us in Hilchos De'os and Shvuos, if a person feels the need to abstain from certain heterim, do it without a neder. Don't do it with a shua, because that's already not a safe way to do it, so to speak. Right? Okay. Again, a person who feels he's about taiva, afflicting taivas, and for that reason he takes a neder, even he does a neder taka. And there's a nazir who's very passionate. He's very involved in wine, so he takes a vow of naziris to train himself, to wean himself off of that. That's good. That's taka going to the other opposite extreme temporarily for the purposes of teaching yourself. That's okay. But stam is doing it else like surim merah as an end for itself, rather than using it as a way to asay. That's the thing that I'm talking against over here. Chacham told us like it's not enough for you. The Torah forbade on you. You're being more from than Hashem. Again, it's not a chiyuv to eat every single flavor ice cream in the ice cream store. But the point that I'm saying is that a person who does this and just and wants to sort of experience abstaining from gashmias, because that's like an end for itself. That's like a mile for itself. That's what Rambam is describing over here. I'm not doing. This includes elu people. Some people constantly fast. It's not a proper approach. The person should not be paining himself at times with fasting. Regarding the Shem Melech commanded us in Kehelis, and he says, don't be excessively tzaddik. Don't be excessively wise. Why should you be desolate, removed from normal way of life? The Rambam says not to be people who are what's the lashon over here? Constantly fasting occasionally for tshuva. Even today, that never says we get stuck instead. But fasting for tshuva on occasion, not a bad thing. People who fast what's considered constant. That's what I'm saying against. Okay, good. That as a sikha that explains that if a person is on a madrega where he's involved in the gashmis and he elevates it to kedusha, he's mechuyev to be involved, and just to abstain to experience more spiritual sensitivity because you want to do what's more inspiring for you instead of what Hashem is. That's not appropriate. But a person like us, who, if they're like me, who's involved in the gashmis, it's going to drag him down. For him, it's appropriate to not be involved. That's the balance over here. So the Rambam is talking about people who, as an end for themselves, not because they want to be more edel and be more ruchnius, just as an end for itself, they want to pain themselves. That's not. I went to the mushal. If you have a place where there's all kinds of there's snakes and negative things, you want to build a house, you get rid of them to build a home. But if you're not building a home, what are you chasing away the snakes? Halacha base. Okay, that is the sorry, 1 second. No, fine, we're still in the first mitzvah. Yeah, the first 5 parakim is still the mitzvah of going in Hashem's ways. Now the Rambam says another thing. Again, talking about the halachas are Hilchos De'os is all the things that we call Hilchos De'os. It's all the ways of perspective, lifestyle, right, personality development. That's what this is. Okay. In other words, things that he has to do that it doesn't say that it's not the fair shisurim, but it's the way of the proper outlook. You see how the Rambam over here laid down the foundation. We say that there's an Eibishter, the fundamentals of Torah. Moshe Rabbeinu's a Navi, the Nevuah exists. And now, if the Rambam tells you the rest of the Torah, the first thing is how do you be a normal mensch? Okay, you'll see over here the Rambam talks about 2 levels. There's Pasha being a normal person, and then there's being an edel person. Okay. So a person has to direct all of his behaviors. They laid down his deeds to know as Hashem Baruch Hu B'avad, to know Hashem. That's the purpose of life. It's knowing the Eibishter more and more. There's a lot of things we do. We go to work, we come back. The yeshivte, when he sits in his house, when he gets up, and his speech, is all leading in this direction for this purpose. Keta, for example, what does it mean? Everything should be the purpose of serving Hashem. When a person is involved in business, what he does is labor. To get a wage worker, right? What kind of job you have. Attention should not be keep it small just to get more money, be wealthier, because it feels better, feels more secure, you have more. You're working to be able to buy things that you need. That's the reason a person should work. Food and drink, paying your rent. You should be able to afford to support your wife, etc. Like the other guy who came to America and they asked him, "Will you support the Constitution?" have to support my wife first, and after that, we'll see if I can. Yeah. So here's what I'm saying: step one, being a normal person is not. Forget why you're eating. What you do with the food. That's the next step. The level one is a person who works a normal job, normal hours. The purpose of having be able to make ends meet and have normal life comforts. Yeah. Similarly, when a person eats and drinks and has marital relations, so after you made the money and you bought food and then you get married, well, then you engage in that. Even then, there's more to do. The person should not think. He shouldn't only have the intention of enjoying it. So he comes out, he's only going to eat and drink. He's only going to eat and drink what tastes good, and he's going to avoid what does not taste good. Have a relation just to have a no. Rather, you also have intention. Eat and drink for the purpose of being healthy. That's why this is a normal person eats. I want to be a healthy normal person. Again, even a goy you could say this on, right? The ficha therefore they shouldn't eat anything just because it tastes good. Like a dog, like a donkey. He should eat things that are helpful and healthy, right? Whether it's bitter or it's sweet. Don't eat bad things that damage the body, even if they taste good. Just for example, I'll give some examples over here. Now, the next parak is going to be more mamayich about physical health. But here's what I'm saying briefly, for example. What does it mean a person who's eating to be a normal, healthy person, not to be about taiva? Again, now didn't say it to eating for the purpose you want to serve Hashem. Partially, I'm going to work to make money to have food to be a normal, healthy person. We'll see. We'll get there though. A person who's he's hot blooded. His body's very warm always. He shouldn't eat meat or drink wine or drink honey. He should not drink wine. I'm going to tell us in the next parak about that. That's something that makes the body warm. Like it says, Hashem said that as a metaphor in Mishlei. Person eats a lot of honey, it's no good. Yeah, it's not good for the person. If it's a lot, if it's a little bit, it's not so bad, but a lot of it's not good. A person should drink endive juice. A person apparently endive juice has the ability to bring down the body temperature. I never tried it. That's a state. Even though endive juice is pretty bitter, apparently. Yeah, endives are one of the things you use for murder. Right? I think this is the Lubavitchers. I know the Blazinskis use endives for murder. That's not what you told me.
Interesting. Over here it says mean tzemach. It doesn't say endives.
Interesting.
Mean tzemach.
Okay. He's eating to be healthy. Why eating? To be a healthy normal person. He should be healthy and strong. Why? A person can't survive unless he eats and drinks. You have to eat and drink. She says, I don't eat and drink. I said, I'm not going to eat and drink anything. No, you can't live without eating and drinking. So eat and drink. Otherwise, you can't live. But eat and drink, that helps you be healthy. Yeah, fine. Weiter. The purpose of should be being healthy. His body, in order to sustain the race. He doesn't have relations anytime he has a taiva because then it's only for enjoyment. Now I'm not saying he's not allowed to have enjoyment in the bia. What he's saying is that's not the only kavana. If that's the only kavana, he's going to only do it when he has a taiva, not when he does not have a taiva. But lav dafka is that healthy. Rather, the person knows he has to exceed semen purposes of health. Ram talks elsewhere in other places about what happens to the body of a person that never has relations and it has a negative impact, and therefore there's a health benefit to it. Or the kayam mesazeta, or for the purpose of having kids, right? These are all normal, healthy reasons why a normal human being does these things. So again, Ad Khan, the Ram didn't talk about the purpose of serving Hashem. The Ram is saying eat and drink like a normal, healthy person. Halacha Beis L'cher applies even to goyim. Okay. What do you mean you're saying that being a normal person? There's a
limit.
So if the woman's makbid, is the person mechuyev. So but the word is Ram is talking about where that's already taken care of. That's not the issue. I know it's mekayim. Now the question is mitzad refuah. So then, if it's healthy, then yeah, I have no taiva, but it's healthy. If it's not healthy, then no. If it's healthy, then yeah, I have no taiva. Yeah, then yeah. If it's not healthy, then don't. Even if you have a taiva, good, fine. Fine. Right, halacha gimel. Now the Rambam says about the importance of serving Hashem. Derech Agav, he quotes from Meshmei Nepach in the Rambam. If you ask average Lubavitcher, how does a yid get rid of depression? He'll tell you, think about Hashem, Ashkar Pratis, and think about all the things that exactly. The Rambam says that a person who has issue with depression, he should listen to nice music, go walk in a nice garden, walk among nice architecture, and then it'll help him with his depression. Okay. Now, obviously, it's not a stereotype to the concept of I brought this aside. Okay. For a person who doesn't conduct himself in the ways of health, if he thinks to his heart, if he takes into consideration, like we just said, that his whole body should be healthy and whole and wholesome, right? And according to health, right? He's gonna have relations only for the purpose of having kids. As you have kids who are going to be, kids that contribute to his enterprise and work for him. That's not yet the proper path. He should think to himself, his body should be complete and whole and strong, so that his nefesh in his body, his mind, right, should be in the right path. Hashem should be susceptible to being able to fulfill Hilchos knowing Hashem. It's a person not shy to look and understand and appreciate the wisdoms of Torah and understanding Hashem's oneness. If he's sick, your mind doesn't work as well. Or versus having children, what's the purpose of that? He wants to have children. He wants to be healthy and be able to think about Hashem. He wants to have children. Maybe there's going to be a person who's a special person among the Jewish people. Now, l'chayra, again, these are all things that the alternative is not Yisurim, it's not Hilchos De'os. Why does it say the reason why he's having liberation is the kind of mitzvah? So by his days, they're calling a person who heard him a kind of Peruvu. Otherwise, Ram tells us in Hilchos Ishus, he's chayav to be with his wife as much as possible until he's kind of mitzvah Peruvu. Yeah. Rebbe says a sikha apparently. I don't know the sikha, but he says it in the Oris. There's a sikha that the gather of the mitzvah is simply to add more yid among Jewish people. In other words, back up a second. You could ask, and he was kind of Peruvu. There's still a chiyuv that are to increase children. So good. So that's all taken care of. And on that comes it on when he says that the person who has as many children as possible, or his wife, let's say, like Moshe right now is expecting she can't have more kids right now. Yeah? So that's when it's negated to have a situation where it's only to have a relationship if it's healthy. But the Rebbe has a view. The Rebbe says basically that the gather of the mitzvah is to have more yidden. The reason for the mitzvah is because maybe one of those children will be a leader among the Klal Yisrael. Okay, Nimtza turns out a person goes this path all his ways, all his days. He's constantly serving Hashem. When he's doing business, because he's doing his business to make money, like we said in Halacha Beis, because an old person needs money. Why is he going to use the money? He's going to buy food with the money. Because an old person can't be healthy, a person can't survive without food. Why does he care to have food and be healthy? Because he wants to serve Hashem. When he has relations, his thoughts about everything is his body should be healthy. He should be able to serve Hashem. That's the bottom line of everything, and therefore everything he does is going to be considered serving Hashem. He quotes over here from the Mishnah Berurah. The Mishnah Berurah writes in Orach Chaim in Simin Lam Reish Lam Al Sif Katan Hey. I saw men of action, peace, before they're eating. They would say, behold, I want to eat and drink. Good, fine. Right. When he's sleeping, he's sleeping. Why is he sleeping? So he should have rest. And his body should be rested, so he should not become sick. Because what's the problem of becoming sick? Not only that he's not going to be comfortable or he's going to be in pain, but he's not going to live to Hashem. What is ill? His sleep is even sleeping. But Shas he's sleeping, his mind is not aware. If he goes to bed with that kavanah, then he's sleeping as a service of Hashem. Regardless, say, let all your deeds pick base, but all your deeds be for the sake of heaven. The Shabbos is in the pasuk. Many things in Torah Shabbat Peh have a mark in Torah Shabbat, right? The Chachmasa in his source, in his wisdom, know Hashem in all your ways. He'll make your path straight. That has a sikh explaining. The Rambam quotes that first before the pasuk, because that's really what most of the parak is saying. You're going to business because you want to make money, because you want to eat and drink, because you want to be normal and healthy, and the reason why you're doing that is because you want to serve the Eibush ultimately be healthy. That's B'chol Masach Yilushim Shemayim. B'chol De'chad De'eu is you get to a madrega where the eating itself is an avodas Hashem. B'chol De'chad De'eu in that path in Hashem. That's a higher level. It's not the Shem Shemayim. It is an avodah.
It says Neisaf al Masach Yilushim Shemayim. B'chol De'chad De'eu is
Yeah.
Neisaf al Kol Masech Yerushem Shemaim. No, this is the Torah Melech though.
Oh, yeah, right. The Chol Masech Shemaim is a lower level. On top of that is B'chol De'os. Yeah. In other words, it's not that it's like in Nigla Oisius that at that level, a level of B'chol Masech Shemayim, the eating is a hechsher mitzvah. B'chol De'os, the eating itself becomes the mitzvah. In the B'chol Masech Shemayim, the eating is a chana. It has a chana. But in the level of B'chol De'os, the eating itself becomes a mitzvah itself, kedusha itself. Yeah.
Scare.
Yes, I do.
Are you coming?
Yes, Mr. Shem. So I'm sorry, I forgot to get back to you. I apologize.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you. I'll be here, Mr. Shem. I'm planning on my. That's a